Hi, Matthew. I'm Matthew with MovieWeb. Matt Mahler, it's a pleasure to speak with you today. Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you. I'm eating my breakfast, Matthew. Please don't hate me.
Not at all. Please, while you eat, let me regale you with my interest in this macabre spirits, but really with fine familiar spirits in general. I think it's a great idea. It's almost like a movie production because it's this collaborative effort, a community of artisans, each with different things, designing a bottle or art or the book or the flavors or the production and business side. It's a great like team of artists coming together to sell this sort of very specific, very quality item. I love the idea of it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, it's so funny that you definitely like I don't think that people the one thing I wish people understood is like how much effort goes into each lift, right? You've got, I mean, the bottle, we designed the bottle, this frame, we designed the frame, everything on the cap that's us. The art that goes into it. So Mia Bergeron did the art for this. Mike Flanagan wrote an 80-page novella. We had to source the tequila. I mean, the whole thing is this year-long adventure that we duplicate every 4 to 6 months. Um, so it's definitely been an incredible journey, but it's a journey nonetheless.
Very cool. And you did Quest End before. I was surprised to hear you're not a whiskey fan so much, but you do like tequila. And you said that horror and tequila just seem to work beautifully. Beyond the business aspect of it, with tequila being a high seller next to bourbon, why do you think that is? What are the sort of connections you can form between them?
Between tequila
Tequila.
and the short story. Well, look,
Oh,
I
and
think.
horror. Yeah.
Oh, and horror. Oh, yeah. That's a good question. The reason we leaned into tequila is I like it, and I'm the co-owner of the company. So I was like, let's do tequila. Um, and the reason we went tequila is that it's got a very artisan, bespoke element to tequila. Um, where they make it, how they make it is very different, right? And how they use the plant. And we're 100% additive free. No, we're 99.9% additive free because we're not bottled in Mexico. We can't say we're 100% additive free, but it's delicious. And I think that there's something, I don't know, there's something harrowing about our story and the idea that I mean somehow tequila just spoke to that realm. We wanted to branch out. We wanted to do something different. It was a challenge for us, and it was an adventure for us to add something else. We also like gin. Like we have plans in 2025. We have all kinds of exciting things coming in the years to come. But we want to keep doing different expressions so that people, I don't know, can go on the ride with us. And so, we have hope that a lot of our Quest End followers will jump over to tequila. And we didn't want to those two brands to compete.
Uh, that's great. I noticed I'm trying to come up with Halloween cocktails, and tequila is definitely a big one. I'm curious. I was hoping to get some of Flanagan's novella ahead of this, but no luck there. But does it relate at all with alcohol? I mean, spirits, ghost liquor.
Yeah.
Is there a connection there?
Yeah, there is. There's a deep connection. I mean, the whole idea of a rare, fine, and limited is that sort of our main character, our central character, is a guy who is like a hedonist. He's looking to eat life, and gets an invitation to a proprietor in a very and goes looking for um the ultimate bottle of wine, um, and find something that is scarier than anything you could have possibly imagined. So the entire short story takes place around somebody looking for like an exquisite drink, the rarest of all rares, and he finds it. unfortunately for him. So it's great. One of the things that Mike, you know, we will, I don't think we'll ever do another story about the liquid. But if you're doing one, this is the perfect iteration of that story.
That's awesome. I bet it's great. I think I read in an interview you were maybe hesitant because Mike Flanagan's sober, but
Hmm.
at the same time, Midnight Mass is such a brilliant one, probably my favorite of his, and it's so focused on alcohol and addiction, and also I don't know, he just writes very beautifully about that. Have you seen Midnight Mass
I
beforehand?
have. I love Midnight Mass. In fact, I didn't know Mike. I didn't know Mike's work until after I met Mike. And I came home and devoured Midnight Mass. I'm a huge fan. And I think you're right. I mean, there is this incredible B storyline or through line in Midnight Mass. But Mike, we asked Mike for a series of quotes that we could use like to help promote the book. He's been super, bless him. I mean, he's been very, very effusive of his pride in this work. But he wrote an incredible foreword that we used in the novella, and that he directly addresses his sobriety. Um, and look, for him as a storyteller, he took it as an opportunity to tell a story, and he's deeply proud of what he wrote, and we're excited to present it to the world.
I can't wait. Yeah, I still need to pre-order mine. Um,
Well, there's still bottles. That's the good news.
good, good. And you kept the prices down to sell more. So it's yeah, hopefully it gets snatched up because it seems really special.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so with sort of spooky season among us, macabre season, this is obviously in its own field of horror, but I didn't realize how much Scooby-Doo you do. It's a ton of voice work. You've called it your day job. You're obviously great at it and do a lot to take care of yourself. But has like a doctor or anyone ever told you if you keep doing Shaggy, you're going to mess up your throat? Or is that something you take into consideration every year?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. I did horror nights last night at Universal Studios, and I went hoarse very quickly, screaming. So I have never deeply considered the long-term ramifications of doing that Shaggy voice. It's so easy for me to do. Early on, I would scream myself hoarse as to get that scratchy voice, like Scoob. But now, you can't do a whole movie like that, let alone two movies, let alone 20 years of screaming, like blowing out your vocal cords. So I do it relatively easy now. And it doesn't feel like it's detrimental. And it's one of those things like I don't want to go ask because if the answer is yeah, you're going to end up ruining your voice. I don't know if I really want to know. The good news is that, right now, like Scooby goes in fits and starts. And so, we've had about two since the pandemic. I mean, we've had a long stretch of not doing any Scooby, right? So, maybe it comes back and um, I guess I'll address it as it gets bad.
Yeah, maybe the character himself can like go to a ear, nose, and throat
Yeah.
specialist. Um, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, no, I just coughed. Sorry.
Uh, I was curious, had you seen Velma by any chance, the animated cartoon? As someone who's been in the Scooby world for so long, I wonder if you had thoughts on that.
I did. I saw it. Yeah.
Enough there.
There you go. That's
You-
that's it. I saw it. I
That's
mean,
fine.
it wasn't for me.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
not. Yeah.
and listen, here's the truth. Truth of the matter is I take great responsibility in sort of holding the legacy of this part. I think what it means to kids. It's a gateway into storytelling, into horror stories. Like I think it's a beautiful place for kids to learn about, what the macabre is, what the spooky is. So that's my version of the storytelling. Um, nothing. Obviously, people liked it, but it's not my iteration. That's all.
Liked might be a stretch, but no, it was that for me too.
Yeah.
Growing up, I remember a sleepover at like 7, and there was a Scooby-Doo movie on, and it just yeah, it was kind of a
Yeah.
game for me too. And then Stephen King came, you know. Moving on with horror, I mean, I saw this news everywhere. I guess from your recent appearance on the Drew Barrymore show, you said that
So funny. This thing is like spread like wildfire. I have, yeah, so keep going. You didn't even get the question out. On the Drew Barrymore show, I said Stu's still alive. Um, and listen, I've always said Stu's alive. I don't know anyone out there who's like, I don't want any part of any future in the sequels or this franchise ever again. Like, there's a world in which he is alive. I mean, originally in the the third sequel, like he was like Kevin Williamson, like, yeah, he's alive. He's running kids um from prison. Like he's having kids do horrible things while he's in prison. And the reason that didn't go is Columbine High School happened right before we went into production, and justifiably so. They changed the entire story around. Um, so there's a world in which Kevin thought he was alive. There's definitely a world in which the last team that did the 5 and 6 thought he was alive. I would love him to be alive if it makes sense, but at the end of the day, Scream does not need Matthew Lillard or Stu in it. It's fine, and it's a boy can dream.
yeah, it's crazy. You didn't have to say much, and it blew up.
Oh, it
I
was so crazy. It was so crazy.
yeah, I
Yeah,
saw it. I mean, it's been almost 30 years. He was a teenager, so he may not be, and also questions of mental illness. Maybe he survived, spent 3 decades in a mental hospital. If that's the case, knowing Stu like you do, does he escape like Michael Myers and try to kill again, or does he get released and is actually recovering? But people think he's Ghostface, but he's not.
that is without a doubt for somebody above my pay grade. I do not I am NATO on that. I am not attached to outcome. If it's A or B, C or anything in between, the only thing that matters is that I think the fans would love it. I think the fans get a big kick out of it. And I think it would be fun to do. Outside of that, it's that's up to the higher powers.
Well, whatever happens, it's immortal already. So,
There
um, you said, I guess about 6 years ago, the interrogation and monologue in Twin Peaks was the most stressful scene you've ever done, and it is incredible work. So many actors, so many great actors in that The Return, but I mean, you stood out. It was incredible work. 6 years later, has any performance since topped that for you, stress-wise or in any other way?
Yeah, I mean, well, look, couple things. Not stress wise. I think that when you're working on something that has such a legacy as Twin Peaks does, that there's a very voracious fan base as Twin Peaks does, and you're working with an iconic director like David Lynch, like going in and understanding that everyone in the world's going to probably see that show, you definitely don't want to suck. And at that time in my life, I was like, so I'll never forget where I was when I read the script. I'll never forget like reading that passage and going, I have no idea what any of these words mean. And seeing the slug line hysterically sobbing was really intimidating. Now, since then, I mean, I will say that the work in Life of Chuck, which is the movie I just did with Mike Flanagan, it just won the Toronto International Film Festival. It's an incredible film. It's beautiful. I have a very, very small part in the movie, but in terms of the work, I'm so proud of it. I think that uh, a little piece of magic happened on the day of shooting, and I think it works really well in this really, really beautiful film. So super proud.
Yeah. one of our critics saw it there and just loved it. So congrats on that.
Thank
I'm looking forward to seeing it. Yeah, I have to let you go. It's such a pleasure to speak with you. If I speak with Mike Flanagan, what should I ask him about this? What do you think would be a good question for him?
That's good. Why doesn't he write more short stories?
Yeah, yeah,
Because,
I
you know,
bet
he,
he'll ask that.
yeah, 'cause he's an incredible writer. And it's so funny that he clearly loves Stephen King. It obviously is, it's powerful for him. Um, but yeah, that's the question I would ask him.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
what else are you using Matthew Lillard in?
Absolutely.
Like,
I'll let you
Matt,
know.
please shoot me a text. I need to know if we're working with him again. Like, are
Mike
we getting,
Flanagan directs Scream 8.
yeah, can we get Flanagan tattoos? Like, is there a Flanagan family crest that we can get, like, just tattooed?
Oh, I get that. Well,
Yeah,
thank you so much. Great speaking with you. I appreciate it.
I really appreciate you. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.